let's go to Mr. Gay China.
Yes.
Okay.
One of our listeners, Kevin, sent the story, and I appreciate it because I love this video. So this is the first ever Mr. Gay China beauty pageant, okay? And they're going to look for a gay man in China who will represent the entire gay community of their country. So we have a video of this, and I just love the video. It's awesome.
All right, let's do it. Let's have a little bit of fun. Obviously from the garden.
It's not just about the body beautiful. These men are competing in the first gay pageant ever held on the Chinese mainland. At the Mr. Gay China contest in Beijing, they'll be judged not only on their muscles and manners, but on their ability to represent gay issues. 13 years after gay sex was decriminalised, they stand for an emerging community that is more confident, more visible, and more vocal.
My name is Simon Wang. I'm 26 years old. I'm an art dealer and curator, contemporary, and I'm utterly, totally, completely gay.
Participants and organisers hope the contest will make people rethink the stereotypes.
They have this misled perception of homosexuals of them as being either sissy or disease-related.
Perhaps that's not surprising. Even 10 years ago, homosexuality was classed as a mental illness.
So, but now it's so different. I mean, you can see people holding hands. You can go to many gay parties, and you can meet people from all over the world. They have gay pride. Last year they had the first one.
But there is no legal protection against discrimination, and the importance of family here creates extra pressure.
中国会有很多同志，可能因为工作的原因，可能家庭的原因，可能就隐藏身份，然后可能周围的亲人朋友不知道他是同志，但是他就非常很压抑的这样的生活一辈子。
In Chinese philosophy, we say there are three different kinds of wrongful behavior to not to devote to your parents, and the first one would be not to have offsprings for the family.
Mr. Gay China aims to increase the confidence of gay men and help others to understand them.
作为一个同志，真的很希望这种活动会越来越多。比如说像这种彩虹先生比赛啊，比如说同志的运动会啊什么的，我觉得把这些很同志的、很积极、阳光向上的这种面貌来展现出来。
If we don't do it now, it could be late. I mean, for many people, it would be too much for them to live in a lie, for their whole lives. So I think it's very important now to do it.
For my purposes as a straight guy, there was far too many male nipples in that video. Okay, I'm keeping it real, right? Now, having said that, I actually think that video was great. Okay.
Yeah, that was a good video.
Because, and I think the whole thing is great. Mr. Gay China, it turns out, I did not know this, there's a worldwide Mr. Gay, which is awesome.
Yeah, the world competitions are going to take place in Norway. So the winner of Mr. Gay China will go to Norway.
You're going to want to put on a shirt in Norway, okay, because it gets pretty cold. Now, the reason it's so great is, like they said, back in '97, it's illegal in China to be gay.
Right.
In 2001, it's still categorized as a disease. And now they've gotten past that, which is great, and they do need to educate people. There are these stereotypes in China, along with many other places in the world, that gay men are weak or carry disease. Now, HIV is prevalent in the heterosexual community in Africa, for example. It is not a gay disease, but people need to be disabused of that stereotype. And as far as gay men being weak, I always go back to Alexander the Great, okay? Only the greatest conqueror in the world, and at the very least bisexual, right? And if you look back at a lot of the great men in the world, there's always those rumors, and it's hard to tell which of those rumors is true or not true at different points of them being at least bisexual. So the idea of gay men being weak is, of course, ridiculous. And some of the strongest progressives in this country have been gay. Some of the strongest conservatives in the country have been gay. Roy Cohn, a disastrous guy, okay, and totally against gays and liberals and progressives, etc., turns out to be secretly gay, of course. And no one would have accused Roy Cohn of being weak, right? So it's an absurd stereotype. If it helps China to get beyond it, great. One other advantage for China is, yes, they have traditional stereotypes, and it's not great to be gay in almost any of the old school cultures, including China. But they have two advantages in China, as they point out in the article with this. One, at least there's no religious hang-ups about it.
Yeah, I found that really interesting.
Right.
That was one thing that the homosexual community in China doesn't have to deal with whatsoever.
Right. There's no religious condemnation. Nobody's going to hell, et cetera, et cetera. And partly related to that is there's almost no anti-gay violence. So it's like, okay, yeah, you know what? We need offspring. It's not the right way to go, et cetera. But there's no need to beat anybody down over it.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know what? As far as old school, and old world traditions that are not positive, it's better than the others, in some way. But my favorite quote from the article is one of the guys says, hey, you know what? I'm gay, and he finally comes out to his family. They don't love it, etc. And so the uncle comes to him and he says, well, here's the guy quoting his uncle. They think having fun with boys doesn't mean you love them. You'll still get married in the end.
I know. I read that and I found it strange as well. Like, does that mean that the uncle, fondled with boys back in the day?
I mean, but that's what's really funny. Apparently, they're like, oh, come on, who doesn't have fun with little boys? But then in the end, you go get married. I mean, don't get it carried away. All this gay stuff that we have fun with, but no, come on, bring it down.
I know.
But, having read that quote, and it's just anecdotal, and it's just that guy's uncle, but I've seen a lot of stories like this. I think we're way underestimating the number of bisexual men in the world. We talk about a lot of bisexual women a lot, right? But they're a little bit more open about it. But I think there are a lot of uncles floating around there who think, oh, yeah, of course, you have fun with guys when you're young, but then you get married.